Okay, so we want to be particularly careful with regards to sweeping up even rodent droppings at a campsite or in a cabin or something that hasn't been used for a while. So there's a way to do it in a safe way, and you can apply water and make it damp. Don't sweep and aerosolize the particles because it can carry with it hantavirus, and there are other potential pathogens that could be aerosolized that we want to avoid. And hantavirus is particularly concerning because it can be fatal, and it has a mortality rate of 38% among those folks that get infected by it. Hantavirus is an example of a lot of different diseases that fall into a category of zoonotic disease. So zoonotic diseases include things like the West Nile virus, the plague. We already mentioned rabies. We're going to talk later about Lyme disease. We'll talk a little bit briefly about plague and even West Nile virus here in a little bit. But zoonotic diseases are diseases that are shared from animals to people. And then people can also have reverse zoonoses where we send diseases to animals. So we have to be mindful of the fact that hantavirus is one of those ones where we don't want to be aerosolizing particles. So other zoonotic diseases that exist, it could be raccoon roundworm. So you don't want to be eating off surfaces where raccoons have been unless you've cleaned it. Or if raccoons have gotten into something and you're exposed to where they've been kind of rustling around, you might get exposed. There's brucellosis. Giardia can be spread from animal droppings or can get into the water. So there's things that we can do to make our water safe when we're camping. So if you're not able to bring your own water in, there are water tablets that are chlorine tablets or iodine tablets that will clean the water for you to make it safer to drink. There are other ways like boiling the water. I mentioned hantavirus. Tuberculosis can be spread by animals even. Plague, which is spread from the bites. Often, they got flea bites, and the bites have happened on you where there's kind of a bite that you've had, but the flea that bit you may have bit some other animal, had bit an animal before it bit you. And then we worry about rabies, particularly if you've been scratched or bit by skunk, a raccoon, or bats. So skunks, they may come around a campsite or something and act like a cat. They might brush against somebody with their tail as they're going under a picnic table. We got to be careful with these because there's some real serious diseases that they can transmit. And our pets, if our pets come with us when we're going camping or wherever, the dogs, if they're not monitored, they may wander off and they may get exposed to these wild animals. And then these pets that you may feel comfortable with that can lick you and touch your hands and you can rub their snouts and pet them, they may pick up pathogens that may not bother them but could bother you or bother your loved ones. So we have to be careful and watch our pets when we go into the great outdoors. So let's do some quick review items. So the temperatures, what temperatures should we be cooking beef at? If you really want to err on the absolute extreme side of caution, 165 Fahrenheit would be on the extreme end. But ground beef in particular should be cooked at least 160 Fahrenheit. And ground chicken and ground pork at least 165. And what diseases are spread from animals to humans? What do we call the diseases that are spread from animals to humans? Starts with a Z. Think of a zoo, an animal. So zoonotic diseases. Z-O-O-N-O-T-I-C, zoonotic. All right, what virus is spread from rodent droppings and it can be aerosolized? We talk about hantavirus, H-A-N-T-A virus, hantavirus. And then what's the actual current case fatality rate from hantavirus? So you may have seen the numbers there may have been some numbers in the video, but the CDC says the current case fatality rate from hantavirus is 38%. And what national park has had visitors impacted by it? So it's a California National Park. It's south of Sacramento and northeast of Los Angeles, and that's Yosemite National Park, big national park. So that's all for this particular one. We're going to get into ticks and mosquitoes in the next video.